is me, Brandy from the future, editing Brandy from the future. Or I guess technically the past. If you're watching the video now, then this is in the past. Regardless, this is editing Brandy. I just kind of want to come on before the video started and just reiterate that there is a trigger warning. There is talks about mental health and talks about things such as self-harm and such in reference to the movie. So I just kind of wanted to give that at the forefront, to give you the heads up in case that's something that you're not comfortable hearing about or watching. Well, not watching, but just not hearing about. And this video is a big yapper video for me. There's a ton of just me kind of like off the dome talking about this movie and stuff. So if it's a little sporadic and like all over the place, I beg your forgiveness, but that's how my brain works and that's how it was portrayed in this video. But again, trigger warning for anybody, and yeah, get into the video. Bye. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brandy, aka Space Goth, and I know it has been a while since I have posted, but I'm back. So today I've decided to bring you guys to a new location in my home, my bathroom. Not very glamorous, not very aesthetic, but the light coming through this window right now, unmatched. And I'm also too lazy to set up my lighting in my normal spot, so this is where we are today. Anyways, moving on. So I have been gone from posting for a little while now, maybe a few weeks or so. And I'm gonna be 100% transparent and honest. Mental health is a B. It's a B. Dealing with bipolar disorder is tough. And sometimes you have good weeks, sometimes you have bad weeks. It varies, up, down, up, down, up, down. Sometimes you just kind of want to isolate. And good news is I'm back. Finally getting back to the things that I enjoy, finally getting back into the gym, finally getting back to cooking, to just everything that I was doing that was making me happy, including making these YouTube videos, I'm back to doing. So I'm happy to be back. It's a journey, it's a marathon, it's not a race, different every day, but we all stay strong and we've got this. And if you're going through something similar, or if you're going through something mental health related, or just really anything in general, you got this too. We all got this. We both got this. So what will we be talking about today, you may ask? I recently went to the movies by myself. I took myself on a little soft date, spoil myself, and I got to watch The Woman in the Yard. Mind you, I did go by myself. As spooky girly as I am, big old baby. But I did go at 3 p.m. The sun was still out, so I had time to process everything I had seen in hopes that I won't get nightmares. Happy to say I did not get nightmares. I don't know what that means, if that's good or that's bad, but thankfully I was able to sleep that night. But today I'm gonna kind of just go over my opinions and my thoughts on the movie. It's been in the theaters for a while now, so I assume those who are gonna see it have seen it, but I'm letting you guys know right now. This will have spoilers. If you intend to go watch this movie, do not watch this video until after you watch the movie. Please come back and watch this video after you've watched the movie. I really don't want to spoil things for you. But again, spoilers. So I'm just gonna read the overview or synopsis of this movie real quick for y'all. Ramona becomes crippled by grief after her husband dies in a car accident, leaving her to care for her 2 children alone in her rural farmhouse. Her sadness soon turns to fear when a spectral woman in black appears on her front lawn, warning her, "Today's the day." As the mysterious figure creeps closer and closer to the house, Ramona realizes she must protect her children from the evil woman who simply won't leave them alone. So to be honest, that pretty much sums up the idea of the movie. Let's get into it. Let's get into my opinions of it. Basically, there's a lady and, her husband dies in a car accident that she was also involved in. Like, the thing said, she's super crippled, she can't walk. And honestly, at that point, she's kind of becoming like, I don't want to sit there and be like subpar mom, because like, I've never lost a significant other like that. And I don't know how I would be if I was going through that situation. But I feel like I would want to be strong for my kids, because at the end of the day, you did lose your husband, but they also lost their dad, and you gotta step up. And yeah, having like the crippled leg is extremely difficult. You sleep on the second level, you can't drive, just so many things. So it is hard. And at that point in the movie had been like a few weeks or so since the accident, so everything's still kind of fresh. But in the whole beginning of the movie, she's kind of just like, you can see that she's not being honest with her kids about, how she feels, what's going on, what the future would look like for them. She's just kind of just shutting herself out, forgetting things like food for the dog, food for the house, making sure the power's still on, all of these things that like you gotta do as a parent for these kids, right? They live in a busted down farmhouse that was like their dream before her husband passed. She's arguing and being a little mean, to the son in the beginning, when the son is basically taking on the responsibilities of the parent for the younger daughter and himself. He's cooking breakfast. He's going to check on the chickens out in the yard. He's taking care of the dog. He's doing all these things that like a parent should be doing, what she should be doing if she could, if she wanted to. But he's taking care of all these things. And when he's coming to her about like, hey, the power's off, this and that, she's very just like, whatever about it, we'll figure it out. We need that power on. Just keep the fridge closed. Y'all ain't got no food as it is. So it'd be nice to keep the food that's already in the fridge. So you want to get that power on. But there's all these obstacles, like her phone died and all these things that are preventing her from being able to get the power back on, get the food, take care of things. So she's struggling. Kid goes outside. There's this lady sitting there, all done in black, with lace, all these things, just sitting there, like with an old school, like, kind of chair. Very out of place for that farm. Very out of place. Me personally, if it was real life, I don't know what I would do. Especially if I was that child, I don't know what I would do. Even as a mom, I don't know what do I do with that lady. They can't call the police. Mind you, they also live miles away from their nearest neighbor because they live on a huge farm, right? Miles away. So there's zero means of being able to contact authorities or whatever about this woman sitting in their yard. Lady goes out to address the lady who's sitting out there. She says nothing. She says nothing except today's the day. Today's the day. Ramona is confused. She's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? Today's the day. The lady sitting in black basically starts to talk about things that are very personal to Ramona that only Ramona, the family, would know about, like her deceased husband and all this kind of stuff. So it's like mad weird that she knows all these things, and Ramona is freaked out. So she tries to take off, get into their Jeep, and obviously he's trying to leave, but Jeep's not working, of course. Basically, from that part on, it's kind of a slow burn. I will admit it's kind of a slow burn. It feels like in like an anime series, you'll have a lot of filler episodes, or it's just like every week they're giving you just like filler to kind of push it along to get to a point to maybe fill out those episodes, maybe to fill out the time. But at that point, it became just very fillery, if you will. It was a slow burn to get to something climactic. And it did show a lot of like the backstory behind things. I won't get super deep into it, but like you definitely see like why, I guess essentially why that woman in black is there. You kind of get like an idea. And there's like a lot of weird kind of supernatural kind of things that are going on. And Ramona basically is like, holy, I gotta protect my kids. I have to figure this out. And I'll admit, I got a little lost in the sauce. It was just kind of slow. And I come to you next thing I know, you know, she's walking trying to find her daughter. And she comes through, and it's like she comes through a mirror into this scene of her and her husband, this video that she watches over and over again of her and her husband talking about the farm and all this kind of stuff. So she's like going through a mirror. Now she's in it and she's like living in the moment, all this kind of stuff. And then it's like all of a sudden she's like, whoa, wait a minute. I was looking for my daughter. So she takes off somehow, right? Keep that in mind. Takes off, goes about trying to do her business or whatever, find these kids, find this lady, get rid of this lady, whatever the case is. But then we find out, right, that like maybe Ramona was the woman in the black veil originally, because they do this weird thing where like, you know, in the beginning when she walked up on the woman in black, she was like, who am I? Like, how did I get here? Where am I? Who am I? Kind of thing. And then it shows Ramona kind of going through these weird, like, things. And then it's like her sitting there watching her walk up to her and be like, do you need help? And she's like, how did I get here? Like, Ramona, was that you? Or was that you? Who's Ramona? Or is this in her head? Like, it was a little confusing. For me. Not the brightest. A little confusing. But it just wasn't... It wasn't making sense, but it was making me think. It was definitely making me think. Fast forward, skipping a bunch of pieces. But we fast forward, and Ramona is talking to this woman in black, right? And the woman in black keeps telling her, like, hey, today's the day. I'm here because you called me. And she's like, what? I didn't call you. She's like, yes, you did. And then they flash back to a moment of her being like, give me strength, give me the strength, give me the strength. So then the lady in black calls her out and is like, you've got your husband's shotgun. You threw away all the ammunition except for one. Also, I'm going to put this out here, trigger warning, topics of self-harm and unaliving oneself. So if that in any way is a tough subject or a topic that maybe you don't want to hear, by all means, skip on through. But, you know, basically alluding to the fact that, you know, Ramona kept it like that because she wanted to take her life. And the lady in black is like, I am the darkest, like, corners of your mind. So, like, the embodiment of the feeling and the wanting of ending it all and not dealing with the pain and not dealing with the life, not dealing with the... Like, she's the embodiment of that feeling or that want that some folks have. And when I tell you this lady wasn't taking over Andrew, she was not taking over Andrew. She's like, today's the day you called me. I came down here. I'm here to help you. And from there, it's kind of like, you know, Ramona's like, no, I can't. I have kids. Blah, blah, blah. I can't. And she's like, tough. Today's the day. And then there's just a switch in Ramona where she's just like, can I just tell my kids goodbye? And again, everybody's situation is different. I can never say, like, you know, I can say I do it this way, you can say you do it that way, but no one really knows until they're in that situation how they would handle these kind of things. But me personally, my opinion, I got two like I got two kids. Like they don't got a dad. If I go, they don't got a mom. What do they have after outside of that? You know, it's not explained in the movie if they have family or they have friends or whatever. But like, to just so easily be like, yeah, actually, yeah, I think you help me. I'm ready to go. It was just wild to me, and I was just like in shock watching it and a little mad. Like, baby, those are your kids, and you're just gonna really? But I left it alone. It goes on, and there's a really dramatic scene. I'm not gonna really go in detail about it or really explain it too much because it honestly, and I'm not even gonna hold you, it was hard for me to watch. I kind of had to look away a little bit. I mean, there wasn't anything bloody or like anything like that, and you didn't really see anything. Um, but it was just hard to like that kind of moment of struggle between like doing something so permanent as taking your life, and that struggle of like do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it. Like it was tough to watch. It was really tough to watch, but it flips. It shows them as shadows, and the lady in black basically like absorbs into Ramona, and then she puts the pew pew down on the ground and like walks out, and then she walks outside. Her kids that she had sent and was like, "Yo, go find the neighbors. I'll take care of this." When she was planning on, but her kids just show up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, we missed you," and she's like, "I missed y'all too." The dog that was missing in the beginning, presumably, shows back up. The power that she called nobody about pops back on, and they walk inside, and there's this moment where the son is like, what happens, what if she comes back? And she's like, I don't think she's coming back, but if she does, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. And they go inside and it ends. Here are my thoughts. The first time I watched it, oh, I say that like I watched it more than once. When I watched it, right, and I was like done, I thought to myself, I was like, oh, okay, maybe she fought through it and she was like, you know what? No, I'm going to stay here for my kids. I'm going to make it work and I'm going to be strong, right? I'm going to be strong. But then when I started blabbing and yabbing with friends about the movie, I started to kind of see a different perspective on it. I thought about the fact that, like, one, what are the odds that you walk out and your kids are already there after you told them to walk miles down the road? What are the odds the dog that everybody knew was gone is now back? What are the odds of the power just popping back on? In the middle, at nighttime, you ain't call nobody, you ain't do nothing, it just pops back on. So it was just like, that's a little weird, right? Then I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? She never came back through that mirror. When she walked through that mirror looking for her daughter and walked into the real life scene of her and her husband from the video she continuously watched, she never came back through that mirror, right? And she was an artist. She painted. In the last scene in the entire movie, it shows a painting. She used to always paint really sad, dark, black and white kind of paintings and stuff from the pain, the sadness she was experiencing from the loss of her husband, the loss of her future. She painted that kind of stuff, but this one had color. It was blue, it had reds, it had purples, it had all these colors. And she signed it. But she signed it, and when you looked at the signing, the name was inverted, right? Like if it was in a mirror, like if you saw it in a mirror, right? And how it would look. So I feel that she actually did end up taking her own life. That she did. And that she's living in, like, I don't want to say purgatory, but this weird, like, maybe she's going to live that same day, same night, like, for the rest of ever. Like, she just didn't cross over, or whatever the case is. Like, I don't feel like she's living her actual life. Like, that's not the real world. Like, the kids kept going down the street. The dog was never found. Like all these things, like she actually went through with it, and she's just kind of going to be living this. What are you doing? My dog. She's gonna be just living like this life forever, basically. And that's what I think. Because those things didn't add up. And then the little thing with the name being backwards and the R being backwards, it's like, okay, you're in a mirror. So you're like not actually in like the real world. Kind of like, I don't know if y'all seen that movie Krampus that came out like long time ago. I think I was in high school. Oh, I digress. But it came out a long time ago. And in that movie, so many people from the family had, and all of a sudden this happened, this happened, this happened. But next thing you know, they're like all sitting Christmas Day in the house and everybody's there, even the ones that, and they're just like looking around. And it's like they all had this feeling that like, no, I remember all the events that just happened. This isn't right, but nobody said anything. Turns out they were living in a Christmas ornament, Krampus's tree. So they would live Christmas Day together for the rest of eternity at Krampus's house. That was extremely off topic. Well, actually, it wasn't really off topic. It was on the topic, but it was kind of a segue tangent type thing. But basically, to sum it all up, because I have been yapping for a while, I feel like the movie was kind of it was kind of about mental health and like the brain and your mind and how it works and like grief and dealing with loss and just like the struggles of that. And like the woman in black kind of just was the embodiment of grief and sadness and fear and wanting of an end. And she was the embodiment of that. Like we could all have some varying degree of like that in our head, and she would be the physical embodiment of that. And it really made me think. I will say it was very like thought provoking. It really made me sit down and actually like think about it and like see like the movie wasn't inherently scary. It wasn't in your face scary. It wasn't gory. There were some jump scare here and there, but like it wasn't super scary. It wasn't bloody or anything like that. It wasn't that bad. It was definitely a very slow burn to get to the climactic part. So that was a little tough because it just kind of like you need some action, I guess, or just something that kind of kept you in it, if you will. I didn't think it was a bad movie. It wasn't my favorite, but I really did like the concept and I really did like the idea. I just feel that like maybe there could have been more done. Like they could have ran with that. They could have knocked it out of the park. There could have been so much. There could have been so much more. Me personally, if I ranked it, I would give it probably like a 6 out of 10. And I only really I would give it like a 7 or 8 if there wasn't so much of that slow burn in the beginning that was just kind of like dragging on. But I still enjoyed the movie. I loved the cast. I thought the concept was really good. Visually, it was really like good too. So I really enjoyed it. But I would give it a 6 out of 10. I'd recommend watching it. Maybe when it comes onto like streaming platforms and stuff like that, you could check it out. But yeah, that's my review. Thank you guys so much for just listening to me ramble. I kind of felt like I needed to even though I talked to multiple people about the movie, but I feel like I kind of just needed to get it out, like, and just word vomit everything that's in my head about it. And I did live out a few things. Again, this is full of spoilers, so there's that. But yeah, that's all I got. Let me guys know if there's any other movies that you guys would want me to watch and review. I don't care how scary they are. I will watch those at 8 o'clock in the morning. But I will watch them. I really love horror movies and I love scary movies and I love just thinking and like how some of them, especially like those psychological thrillers, so thought-provoking, and I love that. So any movies you guys want me to watch or review or give my opinion on, y'all just let me know. And if there's any other type of content you guys would like to see, I am going to get back into some tattoo stuff. By the way, there should be a tattoo vlog coming in the next few weeks. Very exciting. But yeah, so that's all I got. I'm going to stop yapping y'all's ears off. And you guys have a beautiful day. If you enjoyed this video or if you enjoyed me at all, consider subscribing if you already haven't. If you enjoyed it as well, leave a like. If you have an opinion, if you want to talk about how I yap too much, if you've seen the movie and what your thoughts are on it, a suggestion for a next movie to watch, leave it down in the comments below. Or if you just want to say hey, you can comment that too. I love to interact. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of y'all's hair. Thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate it so much. And that's all I got. Be easy.